Hello there again. RC Rank Carcass. We've just completed January 1941 turn. So this is going to be the summary video, and the game we're playing is Historical Board Gaming's Global War 1936 to 1945. I believe they call it the second version. They're talking about making a third version of the map and the rules. So we'll see. We'll see what that looks like. Alright, I'm not quite sure where to begin. This last couple of 3 turns have been seesaw and yo-yo and all over the place. It's been kind of crazy. So yeah, it's been a little bit nuts. So I've done a house rule or two. I've had a few mentions of this. I have these income bonuses. These extra income bonuses are all actually just house rules. So you won't find them on the Netherlands at War sheets. I made my own sheet, and I'm trying to find the link for that. I think I found one that works, but I don't know if the links still work. I had a link for it on axisandallies.org. I go by the same name there, Rank Carcass. I believe it was quick player aids or quick player index sheets or something along that line. And in there I have my Netherlands sheet. I also have my personal favorite sheet. It's the best sheet I ever made. So I'm just going to show you this one here. This has every single wartime income bonus for everybody on here. How much? Wartime bonuses, right? So, you know, if you're the German player, you don't have to look at somebody else's sheet. You can just look at your sheet and go, hey, that's what Anzac gets a bonus for. Hey, if I do this, France is going to go up if I do that. Right? That's, looking at this is the reason why Japan hasn't attacked anybody yet. It's keeping the US cheap. Right? So that's this sheet. And then I have another sheet on the other side here. And this is the peacetime bonus income. So these are the things that that really matter to the Axis, right? So FEC, Japan attacks Netherlands, Netherlands East Indies, first time only, +3. So FEC gets 3 extra income because Japan has attacked the Netherlands, right? Here's the US one. Japan completes a battleship, carrier, or light carrier. $2 extra goes to the Japanese, or to the Americans. There's a reason why these guys aren't getting placed. They're just getting moved up here, but not completed. And that doesn't include these 3. These 3 stay in these positions on the map, and they're available to the Japanese to place and continue building when they go to war with the USA. Until then, they're just parked there. That's why there's Japanese light carriers sitting on top of American roundels. Yes, they're not American ships. So yeah, these are all on the same page as my Netherlands sheet. So if you're interested, I believe somewhere in the comments on one of my last videos there, people were asking about it. I can't remember which video. I'll try to see if I can find a link for that and put it in the description of this video. All right. Here I got my commander set out, or rules out. I finally bought ink and printed it off. So, yes, I had 2 commanders die. Don't ask me how, but in the same turn, was it the same turn or 2 separate turns? The Japanese, and then last turn, and then this turn, the Germans, they both had a commander roll a 12. When all the other units got eliminated themselves. We then went on to this stage here, the replacement stage, and it says may make a die roll during his place units phase and attempts to replace the fallen commander. Germany failed to get the 7 to 12, but Japan did get the 7 to 12. Anybody out there inform me? It's kind of ridiculous that I can't recruit a commander again or attempt the next turn and the next turn, but nowhere does it say you can or can't. And one other thing about this commander set that we got here, a commander adds commander effects, or was it his movement? Trying to find that here. They had something about commander movement, and they only move one zone on land. And when I had movement here, there we go. Here where it says commander only moves one land space in combat movement. I'm sorry, if you're blitzing, you should be able to bring your commander with you. That's kind of ridiculous. We proved that when General hand grenade was over and we were playing what were we calling it, Battle in the Cat House or something like that. And I was Russia and he was Germany, and we were attacking each other with commanders, but every time we blitzed forward, we left the commander behind. So we had to non-combat move the commander to the front of the line, and then next turn we could attack with him for one space, and then we blitzed past him. And then the turn after that, we had to non-combat move him to the front. And then the turn after that, we could, it was ridiculous. So I'm going to end up house ruling that in there, that you can follow the blitz if the units you're with are blitzing, right? Otherwise, one space and combat move makes sense. All right. So yeah, that's the commander set and my Dutch sheet. I'll just show you that. This is the actual Dutch sheet. I'm sure this is familiar to you. And on the back side, I've got their build chart and replace units. Now, somebody mentioned that this doesn't look like theirs. That's correct. They have everything set up in, here, let's find that again. Here, let's find you. They have everything set up in little fancy little tables and boxes and stuff. I just threw it all in text, right? So I kind of put a few tables in here, but the main reason I did this is I actually started doing it because we put a vinyl overlay on the table and we put little red stickers on there, and we changed the value of land zones so that everything had a value. And that was a nightmare because there's too many islands for the British and the French, and I think the British were at $69 by just giving them +1 to all their land territory. It was nuts. Yeah, it was crazy. We had turns there where the Germans were spending $130, and then the Russians were spending like 50 back, or 75 back, and then the British were dropping in there 70, and I think the Americans were floating around at like, yeah, it was crazy. It got crazy. I gave too many values to everything, and so I just redid this again to match the actual values of the BAP, and then we added in these peacetime bonus incomes, just because otherwise the Netherlands at war here, I know I went over this earlier, but the Netherlands at war here, they only collect $1 every turn until somebody attacks them. And if you're smart, you coordinate attack between Japan so that it lands on 2, 2, 2, right? You take $6 all at once, leaving them with $3 here, and no facilities and no units. And then you leave them with this $4th over here. And on the very same turn, the Germans take that end. There's a reason why the Germans and the Japanese haven't attacked the Netherlands. They want to do it together at the same time so that they get knocked down to the least amount of income. Bang, all at once. It's the only way to fight these guys. Any other way, and you're just slogging and slogging and slogging. So right now, Japan's just letting these guys go, and they built a factory over here. They're building a naval base. They built a factory up there. You know, Germany can take that capital of theirs out, no problem. So we'll see what happens. Definitely going to see what happens. I'm having a lot of fun with this game. I don't normally play games alone, and yeah, it's a challenge to, because I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be a really good move, and I can do blah 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 blah, and then I turn around and I look at it from the other side and go, that was stupid, because I know exactly what they were planning on doing, so their little surprise moves aren't surprising me because I'm trying to surprise myself, and it's not working out. All right, since we're here, let's show the build chart here. There's been a bunch of crazy starting of builds here. The Americans started an Iowa class and a fleet carrier. The Italians started a fleet carrier and moved forward their battleship. The Germans haven't touched theirs or the two they captured from the French yet. We'll see what happens with them. The British placed these three turns ago for $1 each, and they haven't really moved them forward, but they're just there in case they need them, right? All this other stuff is ready to go, but everybody's just been moving stuff forward and forward and forward, because there's going to be some in the Med. If the Italians and the British have more capital ships than each other, or twice as many capital ships as the other one, they'll win a victory point. And the same thing happens between the Japanese and the Americans in the Pacific. So we'll see what happens there. So that's the whole point of that. It's, looking forward to 1945, starting in 1936, because there's certain points you need, and you're working towards them. So what happened this turn? We're here, right here. We're at Australia. They didn't do much. They finished a light cruiser and a heavy or battle cruiser, call it what you will. I think heavy works better. And they non-combat moved these dudes up to there, and that sub up to there. It's as far as it could get, trying to get over to this area here. And FEC built a tank and a mech and a transport. Japan did not attack anything this turn. It decided to go into full turtle mode. That guy was supposed to move forward. Oh well, it's too late now, I guess. The whole point was to move all this stuff together, so let's just stick them in there. That was what I was trying to do, is reinforce everything into here. And I left one dude there as a blocker, and I left one dude here as a blocker. I'm wondering if you figured out that the CCP is my new target here. I even got all the aircraft that were over here landed in the same zone. So come on, bring those Russian planes and let's kill them for you. The CCP is now making $2, and they get a bonus from here and here for touching Russian territory. The Russians took the... I'm going to stop using this, knocking all these guys down. The Russians took the rest of Mongolia, so that way the CCP could get a bonus point, and the Russians got 2 points out of that, which could turn into 2 victory points. Every land zone that Russia owns outside of its home territory that's worth $1 is a victory point. Yeah, right, there's one, Portugal's one, right? There's a special condition. I think that everything from the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact comes as 1 victory point. So those $3 up there don't really count as special victory points. They count altogether as 1. But, Russia's already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 victory points just by doing that. So, and I think they're gunning for 7. And then depending on what happens, they might go crazy in here. They built the rail line connecting this to this, and that connects all this. So they're actually connected from Bengal all the way up into Russia. by rail. There you go. Let's see, the British this past turn. Now you know what, let's go to, if we're gonna go on this side, all that really happened else. Here's the KMT took this place from the Japanese that was undefended, since they're pulling all their forces in here going that way. They placed an artillery and a dude in there, and they're trying to turtle, but they have almost no units, which is why Japan's like, screw that, these guys keep taking all my stuff, so crush them and then work our way down. Should have done that a long time ago, but yeah, if we can start, we got enough dudes in there. We built 2 more light tanks. Oh no, that dude was a placed dude. He got shifted over from the factory. There we go. So we placed 3 dudes, a dude and 2 light tanks there, and then 4 more dudes over there. The commander, we saved him, so he's standing there in Tokyo. And yeah, all that fleet's on that card. There you go. And there's a pink dude in there, which means that that's 10 plus the dude on top for 11. All right, now let's go into the craziness here. Europe's been so busy, I'm starting to lose track of what happened which turn. I've had so many yo-yo moments. I believe it was this turn we already had all of France. And at the end of the last turn, this stuff aligned to Germany. So what Germany did is it took the 3 dudes that it already had here and it just moved them out so that it can prevent anybody like Britain from landing there with a transport on an undefended shore. This way there's at least 1 shot at that transport. Hopefully they can eliminate the amphibious assault before it lands. If not, they non-combat moved 2 tanks and 4 advanced mechs got railed in, along with this artillery that can act as a counterattack force on any attack on anywhere in Spain. They also have a move of 2, and there's 4 advanced mechs for 2 tanks. This whole stack can blitz together. Advanced mechs blitz 2 to 1 with tanks, right? So, and they're within range of Gibraltar should Gibraltar fail. Yeah, kind of putting some pressure on them. There's a reason why I didn't build as much stuff on the Russian front here, and that's one of the 2 reasons. The second, well, actually 3 reasons. The second reason is, oh yeah, these convoys have already happened. So, by the way, the Italians convoyed there on their turn, and were successful. They took $5 off the British, so the British, instead of having $25 to spend, has 20. Beautiful. My new convoy rules are working a little bit, although I might recommend, if you're gonna use my convoy rules, since this escort way over here can't shoot at these subs, you might want to consider doing the Suez reroute. I might have to do that next turn, because this is just going to be shooting fish in the barrel. I can put 2 subs on here and I can shoot at this like crazy and they'll never get me. Yeah, kind of a little bit cheesy now, so I might have to force the Suez reroute. It's in your alternative rules at the end of the rule book. Yeah, notice that there's a lot of black dudes down here along with these brown dudes. That's what happened. So anyway, the Germans wandered over to Greece and on their way to land over here and do an amphibious assault in Syria and an undefended amphibious assault here in Transjordan. Transjordan, no contest, that was a win. Amphibious assault against a single militia in Syria, and the Germans missed on their bombardment with their cruiser at 2, then they missed on their attack with the infantry at 2, and the militia got a hit, so that was the end of that. And the commander went in there with them, and then the commander died, because I had a chance to roll a d12 and let him run away unless I roll a 12, and lo and behold, we rolled a 12. That's why I was showing you the commander rules there, because they died, and then I tried to roll to save them, and I failed. But because we have this place, Germany aligned Iraq with its 1 infantry and $2, so that's nice. I also gained $2 from Spain, and yeah, it's moved its navy around, reinforced the Italians here. That way, even if Gibraltar, that way, even if Cairo falls to this card here, full of navy, owned by the British, right there, then things are okay. But the British took a couple of dudes that were over there, moved them in here, and dropped them in Eritrea and Nubia. The dudes they dropped off last time in British Somaliland, they took Italian Somaliland and Abyssinia away from the Italians. They're non-combat moving this tank up. From here, they built 2 mechs and a tank. That way these guys can all blitz together. I assume they're going to start building up here. And they're probably going to take Egypt and combine with an amphibious assault if possible. So they're building up pretty heavy down here. They've even brought a transport down to pick up, oh, you can't see that. They brought this transport down and a little bit of fleet. And they're going to probably pick up these dudes and drive these dudes up and swing around and start dumping and driving. Maybe Britain will even build a rail, because to continue this rail line, it's going to cost them $4 and $4, and then they can rail move 1 unit straight there every turn, plus drive the rest and transport the rest, right? Like, it'll start speeding up their thing, right? They can take a vehicle and a dude around, and then they can rail move another vehicle up there. That's a thought. We may consider that. But Britain's down to $20 and it's starting to get a little bit pressured. It's still got a bit of fleet there and there that could possibly come in here. And yeah, there's a bit of a trap here, right? I don't know if you can see this or not. I got this bit of a trap there. I'm just going to crank my camera up a second here. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but this unit, this one, these units can all reach here without a Navy base. Then we got these units here and a transporter in there, and they can all reach here with the Navy base, some without, right? So pretty much this entire fleet here could all collapse on Sea Zone 79 just outside of Gibraltar if need be. So if the Italians or the Germans come out, then the British are just going to collapse on them, right? So that hasn't been happening. Okay. Ooh, France. France built a colonial right here, and then France, but before that, France walked into Spanish Morocco. It wasn't worth anything, but France had nothing to do, and they had a dude there, so they, why not take that place? Then we should probably take that place away from the Germans, and this one, and this one. Well, maybe not that one. We don't have any transports, but the reason for that is, should there be some kind of assault down here or whatever, that starts eliminating landing zones for aircraft, which, I mean, right now, it's not going to be an issue, but if you start eliminating landing zones on this side, that makes it easier to eliminate these ones, because something can't strafe over and then land over here somewhere, right? Or over here, behind you. Now you're splitting your forces, trying to find them, blah, 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 blah. Right, so that's the little bit of strategy of what's going on with France. France doesn't have any facilities to build, and it has money, so it's been leasing it to the KMT and other places. Another reason why Russia hasn't been attacked yet is what's been going on up here. I was a little gun shy because the Italians lost 2 destroyers to a freaking coastal gun. So I took the cowards route and we attacked Gothenburg here, which gave this to the British, who flew in all those seaplanes and fighters and crap. And man, that was a mess. That would cost me way more money than losing 3 ships to a coastal gun with a shot of 3, right? Yeah, it's like deciding not to go at something because there's 1 AA gun there. Yeah, so I'm not going to send any planes. Well, you might lose some planes, but Man, I lost way more ships by avoiding that coastal gun. Yeah, so Germany built another transport and a destroyer. They floated in there and they took that this turn, and then the British floated in and took it back and built another infantry up there. Yeah. Well, they flew the fighter up here, and in this past turn here, the strategic rocket's been amazingly handy, especially since Liverpool and London both touch the English Channel. So both of them are in range, all their facilities. So it put 4 damage on this minor factory and 4 damage on this major. So Britain's now down to being able to only build 1 unit here unless it spends money to fix that stuff. And then now that it's down to only 20 bucks, that's gonna start getting expensive. So now that we've done our little reinforcements on this side as Germany, we don't have to spend as much money and time building units on this side, which means we can buy another strategic rocket, maybe start thinking about taking Belgium, maybe the Netherlands, and moving some units to the Russian border, maybe, huh? Building a little bit of navy either up there or down here to join this one. Either one would be helpful. The Germans are going to keep pumping whatever the Italians need to make sure that they hold the Med, because that's a lot of points there. Right now, Italy's making more money than Britain and France combined with its wartime economy. It is a beautiful thing. Doesn't happen very often. But with Germany fluking out and getting this, and a little bit of navy and a transport of their own, they can start moving their own troops, right? Like if they really want to, they can start scooping up this tank and dropping it off, and then the mech and dropping it off, and man, it's going to start getting beautiful. Maybe they'll buy another transport in there. That could be nice. It's really handy having navy bases in here. I was looking at options on, well, maybe I need to take out this Vichy France since it's only Algeria and its capital that make any money, and it's $2, right? I mean, if I wipe them out, then Germany has access to a shipyard in the Med, and then the Italians can have this one, right? But now that I got Spain, I don't have to do that. I just won't build any capital ships from Germany. We'll let the Italians do the capital ships, and the Germans can build the support fleet. All right. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to do here. Yeah, as you can tell, there's escorts everywhere because the Germans came out and they did a convoy raid. They didn't do very well on that one, but with my new rules here, after the raid, that's when these escorts showed up after the fact. So if this guy does a raid here, this escort's going to shoot at him. If he does a raid down here, there's no escort, right? But I mean, you can only put so many ships on escort before you start weakening your defenses. All right. Yeah. And that's about that. Russia, I've gone over them. Yeah, they own Papiri. They have for a while here. Yeah, it was pretty much a move. Stuff into position. Start getting stuff set up. Start setting up your, like, the British are going to start trying to set up a shuck, which is why they got one transport here, one transport there. They built a new one over there. You know, they're going to start getting those 3 transports in a shuck here and just start cycling, right? Or they can cycle back and forth from here to here with this. Maybe build another transport and just have 2 going back and forth, and just keep dropping them in either Aden or Italian Somaliland, and another transport or 2 sitting in here. They can scoop and dump, scoop and dump, scoop and dump. You know what I mean? We'll see what we can do with that. Just like the Americans do across the Pacific. Only they got the option of this location and this location to scoop and dump from, right? So they can technically bring 3 units and 3 units. So that's 6 units, right? They just need to have enough transports. And if that starts happening, then the Italians are going to have to do the same thing over here, which is going to start weakening their home base and their ability to do anything over there. Which means Italy's probably going to have to build another factory, because this one major is only allowing them to build 5 units. That's not really enough. Not enough. So Italy needs another place to build some units from, and in a hurry, I think. This one's free. Nobody wants that one. Well, there is a fighter, coastal gun, destroyer, stack of 4 infantry, and it's in a city. But you don't have to wait 2 turns to build it, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens over there. Russia could use that too. They get a victory condition. They pretty much seal a victory point that way, unless that one gets taken. In case this one gets taken here, your ice-free port condition. Anyway, I think I've wandered around enough. We're gonna move over to here, the tech chart. Russia moved up on advanced mechs and heavy armor. The Americans moved up on long range. The Germans moved up on wartime economy and improved shipyards. The Italians placed here. I think the Russians either placed here or they missed here. I can't remember. No, I think they just got those 2. Italy, Japan failed. British moved forward on this one. The French failed. Yeah, man, the Americans are doing those 4 tech rolls a turn, and they're doing one for improved shipyards. The last 2 or 3 turns, they've been rolling 5 tech rolls, and they're just, you know, getting 1 out of 5. It's brutal. I don't know how Germany's getting so many, but the Americans are missing everything. It's just pure dumb luck. Same reason why the Americans have no income. They're rolling a 1, they're rolling a 3, they're rolling a 4. Man, if they rolled 3 12s, they'd be pretty much here already. I think it's 65. I could be wrong. I have to double check the book. Yeah, I noticed this one was wrong, and I asked him a question like, the total income doesn't match what you got on the board, and all of a sudden there was an update. So sometimes don't trust your sheets and just count them out. Because I think they had them at like 50 something, and the 20 bonus to 75, right? But now, sorry about that. But now things are a little different. So the Russians went up to 39, and home territory income, when they reach 46, they're there. This is what they got from deals here. Germans are up to 53 now. The Japanese have been dropping because of the KMT going up. But the CCP may cease to exist next turn or in the next couple turns, which will make it a lot easier for the Japanese to eliminate the KMT next. Italy's been yo-yoing up and down with the British. The Germans have been yo-yoing up and down with the British. Yeah, it's been a bit nuts. So January 41 is finished. We're going to move on to July 41. Sorry, this has been a bit of a rambly video, but I had a couple things like the Netherlands at war to bring up, and my house rule on that, the commander's house, blitzing house rule, I'm putting that in, and how I'm not sure if I'm going to maybe house rule an option for the Germans to roll a new commander and replacement. Because it seems kind of weird that you get one chance to roll, and if you get it, cool, and if you don't, well, you're screwed. I mean, it'd be nice to, you think we wouldn't promote a new general if one died? I don't know. No, you know what, we don't need generals. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. So, I might, depending on how your comments go here, I'm either going to try that house rule or to add commanders again, get a second roll just 1 roll per turn though, right? Kind of make it kind of like tech, because you don't want to make it too easy, right? Otherwise there's no risk to losing your commander. Anyhow, I'm going to leave you guys there. I hope you're enjoying the series. I'm really enjoying playing this game. I've never played a solo game like this before on the interwebs, so to speak, and it's quite entertaining. So thank you folks for watching and commenting, and hopefully anybody who's watching this in the future will feel inspired to either play their own version of the game or check it out or meet up with somebody and have a game at somebody's house. I find this way more fun than sitting in front of a screen. Especially when you got beer and pizza or something. You know what I mean? Anyway, see you in a bit. See you for July 41, next turn.